Right, welcome back everyone. So today we're going to be looking at this glorious Ritchie Blackmore solo from the song that needs literally zero introduction, Smoke on the Water. But anyway, I still think I'll drop a few things in there. I think we all know what this song is about. We know it's that intro riff that everybody knows. I'm not going to play it. But anyway, so the song is a legendary song for many reasons. One, obviously, for that incredible guitar riff. That's such a sort of a hook. That pretty much anybody who picks up the guitar will learn that riff to the point where that particular riff is banned in most guitar shops because they just hear that all day long, and don't blame them. I mean, there's even occasions where I think, Ritchie Blackmore actually refused to play that song. Actually, the band refused to play that song because it just heard it so many times. Anyway, so the intro riff is brilliant, but let's talk a little bit about the solo. This is Blackmore at his really, I would say, finest mixing of rock and blues. So this is not so much the more neoclassical stuff that he tends to do in other places, like on the solos of Highway Star and all that. He's got a bit more neoclassical feel. This is a straight rock blues type solo, which is what this song needs. Now, the reason I'm sort of going through some of this kind of solo, I did the final countdown a few weeks ago, I'm doing this, is I feel that, it's important if you're sort of getting into the realm of playing lead guitar, it's important to sort of learn some of these, old school rock solos for several reasons. One is I think you just need to have them in your repertoire of knowledge because there's some great licks to learn in there that you can throw in your own playing. I also feel that, I've been doing a lot of more technical stuff, technical solos, and sometimes those things can feel a little bit out of reach. So it's important sometimes to sort of look at things that it's more, if you sort of again like started, you're an intermediate type of player, don't bypass these kind of classic solos because they are the ones that will lead you on to play more technical stuff as you get better and better and sort of develop your technique. So it's important to sort of do that. Also, I think it's important to look at sort of classic solos, to look at how some of these great players, and Blackmore is obviously in the top 5 of greatest players of all time, and how these guys thought about structuring their solos, especially in an era where, especially in the case of this album was recorded with a mobile studio because as you all probably know, the casino where they were going to record, take sort of residency to record the album, Machine Head, yes, was burned down because of doing a Frank Zappa concert, and so they had to sort of relocate within the sort of same town, Montreux. They had to relocate inside a hotel, and it was all kind of, if you watch the documentary, all kinds of crazy stuff. Like the band had to set up somewhere in the middle of the studio, in the middle of the hotel, in what was apparently a haunted part of the hotel, whereas the producer had to be outside in the mobile, in a van or a truck. So it was like all quite a complicated setting. So imagine in the middle of all that, you've got to cut a solo, and this is a great example of how a great player like Ritchie Blackmore would just cut a solo. I'm sure he had probably several versions of it, but this is the one that made the record. This is the one that we all know. Finally, when it comes to these kind of solos, before we embark on it, it's important to sort of, I would say, try to learn them as close as possible to the actual solo, like practically note for note. I've played this solo live many times, and I never play it exactly note for note. I do know it note for note, but I sort of tend to change it on the way that Night feels, and Blackmore used to do the same. But it's important to learn them as sort of, as a written piece of work, just so that you understand how the solo is structured, how, all the phrases sort of join up together and all that, and then you can make it your own. All right. Now, finally, so we're going to break down the solo in several parts. Before we actually go into the solo, I thought it'd be good for you to have a quick check of a little cover of the solo, and then we'll come back and break it down into several parts. Hope you have fun, and see you in a minute. Right, okay, guys, so we're going to begin this solo. We're going to begin looking at this solo. We're in standard E. So if you watch Blackmore does play this song, obviously on his Strat, a single coil Strat. I'm actually playing a humbucker, obviously. But what I've done is I've actually put the neck pickup on here just to give a slightly smoother sound because it's pretty smooth sounding solo overall. And in terms of tone on the my Kemper, I've gone for something like a little bit of a distortion, sort of with a bit of a tube screamer on it to keep it a little bit more authentic and not sort of pushed out. So you don't want to have too much gain on this kind of solo at all. It's a rock solo, so you want to slightly, if I'm playing bridge, that's the kind of sound I've got. Yeah, the neck pickup is slightly smoother. All right, okay, so let's have a look now at how the solo begins. I'll play you the first phrase and I'll break it down. Okay, so let's have a look at what happens here. We start off on the 12th fret of D, and we go 12th fret of D, then into the 10th fret of G and 12th fret of G. Then we're going to go to the 11th of B and bend that. We're going to go to the 13th of B and bend that. Then we're going to come back to the 11th of G. Then we're going to get ourselves onto the 12th fret of G, and then hit the 11th of G and stop there. That's how the first phrase goes. Then we're going to basically develop that first phrase a little bit more by starting back off on the 12th fret of G, into the 10th fret of G and 12th fret of G. So then we're going to hit the 11th of B, and then we're going to bend the 11th of B. And then we're going to come back down and go 11, 10 on the B, then 8 on the B. Then we're going to go back to the 10, and then we're going to do a quick hammer pull off on the 8th of B, into the 10th of B and back into the 8. Then we're going to go to the 10th of G, back to the 8th of B, 10th of G, 8 G, 10 G. Then this is where we're going to do a little quirkiness of Ritchie Blackmore here, where we're going to play the 10th of B once as a 10th of B, then we're going to bend it, play it again and bend it up, back down on the 10 and bend it again. And then we're going to hold it there. Okay? So that's for the first phrase. All right, so now what we're going to do is just have a quick look at this first phrase with some tabs. Right, okay, so let's have a look now at the next part of the solo. So I'm just going to quickly play it and then we'll break it down. Right, okay, so this is a slightly longer part than the first one, so let's break it down. We're going to start on the 8th fret of B. We're going to go 8th fret of B into the 11th, then into the 8th of E. Then we're going to play the 11th of B. Then we're going to bend the 11th of B. Then we're going to play the 8th of E again, back into the 8th of B. Then into the 8th of B here. And then finish on the 11th of B. So that's the beginning of that phrase there, okay? Just a quick indication, the solo is split half between C minor pentatonic or C blues if you want, C natural minor as well a little bit, and G minor pentatonic. So the next part that we're going to look at, we're going to descend into the G, but not this part here, but the next section of the solo. So to carry on with this part of the solo, we've got this long sort of blues lick. This is probably the trickiest lick in the solo. So I would suggest you spend quite a lot of time on this particular part. So we're going to begin with a bend on the 10th fret of G. So we're going to do like a bluesy kind of bend, go 10th fret of G, and then hit the 8th of B and then 8th of E. I tend to sort of do like a little mini bar of the hair and roll my finger over when I'm going down through the string. So I'm going 10 to keep it clean. And then from here, we're going to go 11, 10, 8. So we're effectively playing slightly with C Dorian here. Going 11, 10, 8 on the B, then do the same on the G. 11, 10, 8 on the G, then we're going 10 of D, then we go 10 of G, and going, this is where we introduce a natural minor, we're going 10, 8, 7, or actually still Dorian. And then we're going to go 10, 8, 7 there, we're going to do the same thing on the D, go 10, 8, 7 on the D as well. Okay? Right, from here, we're going to go into the 10th of A, and then 8, 7 on the D. Then so 10 of D, then we're going to go back to the 8th of D, then we're going to get 8 of G, 7 of G, 5 of G, then we're going to go straight down here to the third fret. So we're starting to come creeping into that G minor pentatonic scale in a minute. We're going to bend that, and then we're going to finish off this phrase going 5, 3, 2, 3 on the G. Then we're going to go back to the 3 here, we're going to go 2, 3, 2, 0, and then we're going to get the whammy bar to go down on us. Okay, right, so just a quick little thing here. When you play that sort of bluesy lick here, it's actually all in semi-quavers. So you need to sort of practice that slowly to build up the speed. But what's difficult is as you're coming out of that blues lick. Sorry, let me do that again. Up to that point, it's all in semi-quavers. When you head into the next bit, the more melodic bit of the solo, it's all in quavers. So you need to slow down your speed there. Okay, so you need to work on that sort of control of your speed. So you're going to push some notes very quick, and then you're going to bring it down. Again, the genius of players like that really know how to play with time. So what we're going to do now is look at this section with a little bit with some tabs. Right, okay, so after that phrase, let's now have a look at what happens after that. So I did mention earlier that we were, for the first part of the solo, we were in C minor. Then we're going to move down everything to G blues actually, and G minor pentatonic G blues. Right, so okay, so finished off with a big whammy bar, and now we'll be on the open G. Now we're going to be on the, well, actually let me play it to you and then we'll have a look. Okay, so that's this next phrase. Let's have a look at it. So like I said, we finished with the whammy bar on the previous section. This time what we're going to do, we're going to bend the 5th of G. We're going to play, again, a very similar blues lick that we played a minute ago on C. We're going to pretty much replicate the same lick in semi-quavers as well. So we're really mirroring that. Again, think about how things are being done here. He's taking an idea here, transposing it into another key, so hooking the audience with a similar kind of ideas. So we're going 5th fret of G. 3rd fret of B, so we're blending the 5th of G with that blues lick, and then we're going 3rd of B, 3rd of E, then we're going to go hit the 6th of B, then back to the 3rd of E, and then play that twice actually, and then we're going to start descending 6, 5, 3 on the B, then do the 6th, same thing on the G, then we're going to go on the 5th of D, then 5th of G, 3rd of G, and then we're going to now go back to the 5th of G, and then we're going to do a series of bends on that 5th of G. 4 bends on the 5th of G. Right, then we're going to stay here. We're going to go on the 3rd fret of B, 6th of B, then 3rd of B, hit the 3rd of B again, 6th of B, back to the 3rd of B, E. Then we're going to go to the 6th, and here I'm sliding up to the 8th. Sorry. And then we're going to bend the 8th of E. Bring it back, then go 6, 8, and then finish on the 8th of B. Okay? So that's for that sort of third phrase. So what I suggest we do now, just have a quick look at this section with some tabs. Right, okay, so now let's have a look at the next part. This is another slightly challenging little bit, with again some quick phrases there as well. But hopefully we'll get through it pretty without too many problems. Right, okay, so let me play it first and then we'll break it down. Okay, so let's have a look at this. We're starting on the 11th of B, and we're going 11th to 8th of B to the 11th. Okay, then we reintroduce again that blues lick that we've done a few times already. So 10 of G, 8 of B, 8 of E. Then we're going to go 11 of B, and we're going to go 11, 8 of B, and we're going to basically roll 11, 8 of B into the 8 of E. We're going to do that basically twice. And on the third time, we're going to go 11 and then 8. Then we're going to start going up to the 10th of E, then 11th of E, then 13th of of E. Okay, so that's how that phrase builds up. We're building up to the climax of the solo. Then from here, so we're gonna go. So let me. And then we're gonna bend the 13th here. Then we're gonna stay on that 13th and do a number of bends. So again, that sort of bend where you're going bending, then you're playing a non-bend, then you're bending up, and then you're going sliding up to the 15th. Then we're gonna go to the 13th back of B, E, sorry. Then 15th of B, then 13th of B, and then we're gonna bend the 13th of B. And that's how that phrase is gonna finish, yeah? So what I suggest we do now, we just have that same phrase now with some tabs. Okay, guys, so this is it. This is the final bit. So what happens here? So we were back up on the C minor pentatonic for a bit. We're coming back down on the G now to finish off this great solo. So let's have a look at the final phrase and I'll break it down for you after that. Okay, so what's happening here? So we back down on the G here, and we're on the G minor pentatonic. We back down here, and what we're gonna do? We're gonna bend the 5th fret of G, and then while we're holding that bend, we're gonna hit the 6th of B with that pinky. Then we're gonna bring the bend back, and then we're gonna hit the 3rd fret of G. Then we're gonna have 5th of G, and then we're gonna hit the 5th of D. Then we're gonna go straight up to the 8th of B and go 8th of B. And 8th of E, 6th of E, then 8 again, and then from here, we're gonna start bending up that 8th fret of E for the final bend. And then what we're gonna do here, we're gonna bend it, then we're gonna hit the bend, the same bend, while gently releasing it, how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sorry, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times roughly. Some of it you need to feel it with the song, so it goes. And then as soon as we finish that, when we come back down, just really gently release it back down. We're gonna go out, get ourselves onto the 6th fret of B, and we're gonna do a slow bend up that 6th fret into the pitch of the 8th fret of B. So, which basically brings us back to the note G, okay? Which is taking us back to, yeah, so that's how the solo is built. So again, Blackmore is really thinking chord tones as well here, that, you know, the next chord that we're gonna go into is G, so we wanna make sure we finish off on a strong, you know, flat 7th into the root, which gives a really strong sort of finality to the solo. All right, so what we're gonna do now is have a look at this whole last section with some tabs. All right, guys, well, that was it. That's basically the solo of Smoke on the Water. Not a particularly long solo, but however, do take your time on it. There are some of those quicker blues phrases that are difficult to sort of nail down initially. If you're new to the whole realm of solo playing, it's important to spend some time on them. Like I said, it's good to learn these kind of classic solos note for note and then sort of do your own thing. Remember, at some point or another, if you're a gigging musician, you are probably going to be asked to play this particular song. So you might as well just learn the solo as it is and then develop it in your own way. Again, I want to thank everyone for your support. You know, the number of subscribers on my page have gone up. Please keep subscribing, keep sharing with your friends. If you have any questions, fire away. I'm available for lessons as well. Also, if you have any suggestions of any other songs, I will be doing more classic rock solos and also the more sort of shreddy kind of solos that I do as well, shreddy lessons and tips and all that. But if you have any suggestions, fire away and I'll try to sort of accommodate them. Until then, stay safe and stay metal.